Okay, now that we've looked at the two different databases that we're going to be using for our research, let's talk about some search techniques and tips. These are also on your handout, so if you need to refer back to it while you're doing your research, please feel free to do so and take notes on the research, on the handout to help you to remember anything that you might need to research. Okay, now remember when we went to Destiny and when we went to the TextQuest Gale, in the advanced search, we were able to use the Boolean operators, and I told you we would come back and discuss those. So here we have and, or, and not. Okay? So each of these operators are going to narrow down your search in different ways. So looking at these, I'm going to imagine that I'm searching for information on Batman. So when searching for Batman and Superman, it would result in a list of titles that contain both Batman and Superman. So if I were to type in Batman and Superman and hit search, it's going to have a book that has both, okay? Now we're searching at the high school level, so there's might not be a whole lot here. Let's see if there's any here. Batman. We're going to put Batman and Superman, and we're going to use that as a keyword search. Okay, so here there looks to be a little bit more that maybe will mention both Batman and Superman. Okay, so it will bring up things that contain both Batman and Superman. So going back to the search, if I were to look up Batman not Superman, it's going to search for things that only have to do with Batman and not anything that would pertain to Superman. So it's not going to put any results back that have Superman in it. Now the or one tends to be the tricky one. If you think about it in real life, if I were to ask you, do you want cake or ice cream for dessert, I'm limiting your choices. You can have cake or you can have ice cream, and that's really the only two. In the Boolean operators, it does just the opposite. So if you're going to click Batman or Superman, it is going to show you results that contain Batman, searches that contain only Superman, or even ones that contain both. So this one, as you can see, we went from 1 result to 11 results by clicking or, because we did not need one or the other. Now if I was searching for stories or information on Batman itself or books about Batman, this might not be the best way to go because it's going to give me a lot of Superman where Batman might not be involved. And so that might not be one you want to do. And if you do Batman, let's just go because we didn't do it. And Batman not Superman, and let's see what we end up with for our search results here in Destiny for that one. Give it a second and see. So from 1 we went to 5. Okay, which this one, it's because it says Batman in the title. So it's going to, instead of expanding, instead of narrowing your search limits, or actually expands it. So be very careful with that. And of course, if you don't remember, you can look at your research, your handout that I've given you, and you can also click this little question mark, and it will provide you. Let me move it into your window with the explanation for it once again right there. So if you do get confused and you lose your handout, you'll still be able to research that. Another one that I wanted to share with you is, again, remember how you're spelling World War II. Remember when we used the Roman numerals versus spelling the word out, we got different search results. When we were in the TextQuest, we did the United States of America, and it really limited the search results. But when we went to just the United States, we were able to get a lot more search results. So make sure that you are really watching your spelling, and it does make a difference on how you do it. Talking about spelling, there's another trick that we can use, which is called truncation. And truncation is helpful if you don't know how to spell a word. You can use the truncation to let the search engine help you out a little bit. So for this, I'm going to say giraffes. Maybe I want to look up giraffes, but I can never remember what comes after giraffe. Okay, so I know it's, I think it's G-I-R-A. So then I'm going to put the little truncation mark, which is the asterisk, and hit search. And it brings me up 11 things all about giraffes. So that is helpful. If you don't know how to spell a word, you can use the truncation to kind of help you out. Or if you're looking for books about, say, children, you could do child with the asterisk and it will pull up children, child, etc. So that would be another one that would be able to help you. And we just talked about this a little bit. Another tip is if you're having trouble finding information on your topic that you're trying to research may not be big enough, or it might be too big. If you're getting not enough results for what you need, you might want to expand your search just a little bit. Earlier, I looked up women in the World War II, but if I were just looking at Rosie the Riveter or an individual person, you see my results are going to be a little less because it's narrowed down to one particular person. And the same can be said if you have too many results. That means your searched words are not specific enough. So it's about finding that balance to where you get exactly what you're needing. So if you can't find it because you have too little, try to broaden your search terms just a little bit. And then, I showed you two different databases for a reason. When you're doing research, you don't want to limit yourself to one database. If I'm going to go pick out a book about Batman, I'm not going to pick out one book. Odds are I'm going to pick out a variety of books. And so that is why I've given you two different databases to use. If you look back to our analogy, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and Hulu, I don't use just Netflix because there are some things on Amazon Prime that I want to watch or on Hulu that I can't find on Netflix, and vice versa. So always try to use more than one database for your research purposes if possible. We have access here to two, plus you have the books within the library and you have me as well. So don't forget that I am also a resource that you can use to help you with your search. I know that was kind of fast and furious, but I wanted to give you guys some time to explore and browse on your own. So I want you and your study partner to get together, and you're going to do just a quick browse of one of the databases. You can explore both another time, but for now, let's just focus on one. Look for items that kind of stand out to you. When I was scrolling through the World War II, the women kind of stood out to me, so I wanted to look into that. Talk to your partner, give your partner feedback. Why did you choose Pearl Harbor? What interested you about Pearl Harbor? What type of questions could you possibly come up with to further explore Pearl Harbor? Or if you're doing Rosie the Riveter or women, why did you choose that? What else could you try to explore? So while you are exploring, I am going to be walking around to help as needed. Don't forget to use your handout to help you remind you of any of the little tricks we've talked about and to help you navigate the system a little bit. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with.